Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. We have another comparison for you guys. This time we're talking truly wireless headphones. Specifically two from Samsung, the Buds Live and the Buds Plus. Of course the OnePlus Buds as well as the Pixel Buds, and last but not least the XM3s from Sony. All are true wireless headphones, some of them with ANC, some of them without. But the main benefit that we're getting here is that they're all sub $200 and one of them actually is sub 100. How do they compare to each other, and do the Samsung Galaxy Buds Lives, well, do they justify the price point that they're asking for, and are they worth your money? Or should you maybe consider the Galaxy Buds Plus that were announced earlier this year? This is TK and this is my comparison for you. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So as I mentioned to you guys at the beginning, we have the Sony's XM3s, we have the Pixel Buds from Google, we also have the OnePlus Buds from OnePlus that were just announced with the brand new OnePlus Nord, and last but not least is the two pair of headphones from Samsung. So this is the Galaxy Buds Live, this is the black color, and of course we have the Galaxy Buds Plus that were announced earlier this year, and this one obviously in white. One thing we're going to definitely talk about obviously is price point, features, application support, and do they work with every device the exact same way, and of course which one offer us the best audio as far as listening, but not only that, also on the microphones, as we're going to do a demo of all of the microphones on these, as well as the fact that we're going to talk about latency, as these headphones actually feature a gaming mode similar to the one that we have there, as well as the one that we have here on the OnePlus Buds. These are also rated to have a gaming mode session that you're able to customize and use. So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll talk first and foremost is the price. Most of the units we have in front of us here are between somewhere $150 to $200. That's the general specs, except for this one. This is literally running about $80, so this is $79 available directly from OnePlus. These are the OnePlus Buds. These are true wireless headphones, and they do offer other headphones, but again, this is primarily a TWS type of a comparison. Now, Google, as far as the headphones here, these are selling for about $170, pretty much the same price point that we see here with the Galaxy Buds Plus. Here, as far as the Sony ones, these are actually last year's model, and they're selling for $179 on Amazon. I'll give you guys a link, of course, to all of these over on Amazon. Last but not least is the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. These are $150 available, and again, released earlier this year, the successors to the first generation, with better battery, better microphones, and of course, better audio. So all in all, these guys, with the exception of the OnePlus, are basically $150 to $180. So $779 is the most, $170 for these guys, $150 right here, and of course $79 or $80 right here. So very good overall on the price point. But let's start talking about active noise cancellation. Not all of these guys support it. The Sony's XM3s do support active noise cancellation, and some of the best active noise cancellation that we've had on devices. Now again, recently prices dropped down to $179. They used to be over $250 to $300, so definitely a really good deal, and they're still being sold directly from Sony as well as Amazon. Now the difference with that and what we have here with the Samsung Galaxy Buds Live is that these guys are actually more open canned, meaning they're not actually providing us a really good seal on the ear. They don't go into the ear canal, and they're trying to use active noise cancellation to compensate for the fact that in general, this will allow a lot more sound to come in from the outside whenever you're using them. The other guys, although don't provide us active noise cancellation, but it's actually using the noise reduction factor because they are in ear. So even though we're not getting the same experience as the Galaxy Buds Live, the Galaxy Buds Plus still provide us a really good example of audio, performance, better microphones, and of course, long battery life. And of course, the Pixel Buds, which is one of the main differences here with the first generation that we saw from Google, is that now they are in-ear. Again, we're using the same technology with a little bit of a noise reduction, which allows them to actually sound a little bit better. But as far as true ANC, this is what we get here with the Sonys. I do apologize for the top. Actual active noise cancellation, and some of the best ones that we have on the market. And they actually is a successor to this one that came out this year that is also sub $200. So a lot of options that we have to look at, but again, keep in mind ANC is only available on the Buds Live as well as the XM3s. Now when it comes to actual battery usage, we're going to start off by talking here so the Pixel Buds rated to have 5 hours of usage on basically per ear, so that's based on the batteries in the earphones, and of course total usage is up to 24 hours with the case, so it recharges itself with the case. The case itself does support wireless charging as well as wired charging, so USB-C and wireless charging. Of course, we have an LED light to show the indicator, one on top, one on the bottom for the battery level. So Really nice. For the price point, you're getting a lot of good functionality. Wireless charging is definitely a must, especially with these type of headphones. Now, the OnePlus buds are a little bit different. They're rated to run about 7 hours worth of battery on each earphone by themselves, and with the case, they're able to go all the way up to 30 hours. One thing that's different though, because of the price point, is that there is no wireless charging, but we do have fast wire charging if you're using a OnePlus charger. So pretty much nice. The same configuration as what you see here with the Pixel Buds. It's just a little bit of a wider case, but as far as thickness, it's just about the same. Very nice, and I would say very heavily inspired by another manufacturer. Now, when we're talking about the Sony XM3s, there's a little bit of a difference in performance. There is basically 6 to 8 hours worth of performance, 6 hours without with ANC, and 8 hours with ANC. So if you turn on the active noise cancellation, obviously battery gets consumed a little bit more. Now, the case is a lot bigger. There is no wireless charging, even though it is technically the most expensive pair of earphones here, but it is going up to 24 hours with the battery that we have in here, and they do charge up pretty quickly. We do have obviously wire charging. All of these guys use USB-C. There is no micro USB anymore, so this is definitely appreciated. So 6 to 8 hours of usage with the earbuds, and of course up to 24 hours with the actual built-in case. Not bad. Again, some of the best options on the market. Now, switching it over to the Pixel Buds. The Pixel Buds Plus did gain a lot more on the battery performance from last year. So we have up to 11 hours on the ears, on the actual earphones themselves, and of course up to 22 hours when you use the case, as the case will recharge them fully. So if you start off with 100% on the battery on the inside and the case, you should be able to get about 22 hours total. But here you have the most amount of juice, which is up to 11 hours of usage on a single charge. So for long trips, flights, this is definitely going to be the best, and you're not going to have to worry about charging them as much. Even though the total hours is not as much, the longevity on one charge is definitely very good. And then lastly, we're going to round off with the Pixel Buds Live. The Pixel Buds Live also have the same thing, kind of like what we have it here with the XM3s. It's that 6 hours with ANC, 8 hours without ANC. So experience is pretty much the same. But as far as the actual overall usage with the case, this is rated to give us up to 21 hours entirely with the full charge. So the case itself was a little bit smaller, so we did a little bit less here. When we compare all of them together, by default, the Pixel Buds Live have the least amount of usage, but definitely a lot better than what we get with the Pixel Buds, because these guys only last up to 5 hours on average. Almost every one of the other ones here provide us a much better experience. Now, every one of these guys provide us with a certain level of touch control. There is basically an initiation button right here. The Google Pixel Buds have the exact same configuration. Pixel Buds Live also does the exact. There's a touch sensitivity. You're able to customize it. The Buds Plus also do the same. The OnePlus Buds do offer us touch sensitivity, although it's customized purely to a double tap, and out of the box, it's basically skip forward. So you can't really reconfigure it unless you're using this directly with a OnePlus device. And what I mean by this, essentially, if you connect them to any device other than a OnePlus device, you won't be able to access this level of customization. The ability of turning on the ANC, or even the ability of reconfiguring these buttons to either launch the assistant, play pause, double tap, and do any of the other options. So even though it's actually the most economical of all the pair of earphones that we're looking at today, they're definitely more considered to be limited in function whenever not used with a OnePlus device. So if you have a OnePlus device, by far, these are going to perform the best. Again, you're able to turn on the ACC option here. There is the Dirac tuner that's built in here. So for audio performance, they're going to sound the best and perform the best on a OnePlus device. But otherwise, you're able to use them normally as any other pair of headphones with other devices. Just keep in mind that the standard function out of the box is double tap to skip forward, and you can't really configure that at this time. Now for the Pixel Buds, we have an application as well. This one will download on any device. You can see the percentage on the battery on each one of the earpieces, configure the assistant, find my device, configure the controls as far as touch and of course raising volume. Adaptive sound is on, in-ear detection, and of course additional options to be able to update the firmware. This is definitely very nice, and at the price point that we're getting them here, they're very nice and customizable. And again, just a nice little interface to be able to use the application. Unfortunately, no EQ that's built in here, so just keep that in mind. At 150, you get the ability of controlling it with whatever built-in EQ that you have. So on the S20 Ultra, I'll be using basically the built-in Dolby Atmos option that we have. That is something that we can actually just turn on right there and then configure it. So you're not limited, it's just that you have to work with what you have. And if you only have it built into the device, this is going to work. If you don't, you're limited to use on whatever the system has built in for an EQ. Now the XM3s from Sony also benefit the use of the app that comes with Sony. You're also able to see the percentage of the battery on each earpiece as well as the case, so not just the earpiece. Configuring the actual player for adaptive sound, different configuration for active noise cancellation, ambient sound, active noise cancellation. 360 audio is also compatible here with compatible applications like Tidal, and of course the ability of customizing right and left button touches on this. All of that stuff is customizable within the Sony app. Again, one of the best options that we have on the market, but also really good 360 audio, which is something that is very unique to Sony headphones right now, either be it the over-the-ear or even the in-ear options that we have right now. So dedicated app, and again, you could download this on any other device, and then of course use it to customize your experience with the Sony XM3s. Samsung has its own application. It's also called the Samsung Wear application. We can use this to configure some of the options on both of the Buds Plus as well as the Buds Live. This one is the Buds Plus. There's a little bit of different configuration. The EQ is built into both of them. You have the ability of configuring the touch sensitivity, advanced, Find My earphones, general. You're also able to reset them. Last but not least is both support a gaming mode. So let's go ahead and switch over here. This is under the lab section. If I go in there, there's actually the ability of using a gaming mode to reduce the latency on this. And we'll talk a little bit about both of those in just a second. Other than that, you get the similar information or similar configuration on both. The difference is with the Buds Live, we actually have active noise cancellation as an option at the top, and we're also able to see the same information. Same EQ that you're able to configure, and of course, under the Labs, you're able to turn on that gaming mode that we're talking about. So definitely very nice from the sense of what you are able to get. And of course, you can also find My Device, update the software from here, do a whole bunch of different options. But again, having an application that works with any device is also very appreciative. This is not unique to Samsung devices. Now, when it comes down to latency, a lot of us that like to play video games on our phones will always appreciate having a low latency experience. Bluetooth inherently has a latency issue. The XM3s, the Pixel Buds, are not rated to have any kind of low latency mode. And one thing to keep in mind is that the OnePlus Buds do have a low latency mode, but only work on Fanatic mode on OnePlus devices. So unfortunately, this is not something that really is comparable to many devices if you don't have a OnePlus device. So if you're thinking of picking it up, the OnePlus Buds will work the best, obviously, on a OnePlus phone. So when it comes down to what we get here directly with the OnePlus, basically the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus as well as the Buds Live, latency is actually not very good. It's actually pretty bad when we consider the fact that with the gaming mode off, we're basically somewhere between 400 and 500 millisecond delay, and when you do turn it on, it does get a little bit better, but again, not enough for it to basically be somewhere where I've seen other OnePlus devices with low latency and Fanatic mode go down between the 100 to 200 millisecond. So it's okay for general gaming, watching content, and obviously listening to music, but you're not necessarily going to be getting the best experience with these, even with gaming mode on, especially if you're playing first-person shooters type of games. As far as the Buds Plus, I did run that as well, and of course the same thing without the actual gaming mode on, they run about the same. I think overall experience between both of these devices is that they're good for general gaming, but for anything that requires low latency, like specific low latency experience, my recommendation is to connect the wired headphones directly to your phone and enjoy your gameplay that way. As far as the actual exercise, are they rated to work with exercise? All of these will work the exact same. My only thing I would probably say is that the OnePlus Buds may be the first to fall out of your ears, mostly because they are just sitting there. These, the one that actually go inside of the ear, have a better seal and they sit much better. And the actual Samsung Galaxy Buds Lives actually surprising me. I thought for some reason that these will just be falling off like there's no tomorrow, but because of the placement and the way they sit in our ear, they actually fit very nicely. That contour, even though it kind of looks like a bean, and I know a lot of us kind of say the same thing, it actually matches the contour of our ear. So even though we put it in the ear, so the speaker sits closer to the actual ear canal, this sits inside of our ear entirely and just fits perfectly, as I'm showing you guys right now. So overall, fit, speaker, they're definitely going to sound great. Let's go ahead and start talking about microphones. Went ahead and switched over to the OnePlus Buds. Again, the cheapest of all the earphones that we're looking at today, but we want to see how the microphones stack up. Now, we have more of a directional microphone that's pointed directly at the source, so maybe that helps them a little bit. But again, at about 80 bucks, these are the cheapest of the 5. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Switching it over to the Pixel Buds from Google. Now, these are, again, about the same price point, no active noise cancellation, but some of the best performance as far as audio and, of course, fit and integration with the assistant that we can find on the market. Do they sound as good? Again, this would be a good example of giving you guys a sample of the audio performance on these mics. Switching over to the XM3s from Sony, these are by far some of the best active noise cancellation earphones you can find on the market. The price on these model, or the specific model that I'm showing you guys today, is actually $179. You can still pick it up directly from either Amazon or from Sony. So I felt like it was a good comparison to put in the same ballpark of $100, sub $200 pair of earphones and of course with active noise cancellation. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the audio? These are the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus, announced and made available around the Galaxy S20 line of devices. They're actually about 150 bucks, still available from Samsung. Do they sound good? Do they provide us the best audio experience? Or do you think at the end of this comparison that we're just putting together right now is that the Pixel Buds Live justify the additional $20? So the last thing we're going to listen to here is the Pixel Buds Live. Again, about $170, about the same price as what we get with the Pixel Buds. And the experience here is supposed to be a little bit better than what we get with the Samsung Buds Plus. The reason behind that, there's a $20 difference in there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do they sound better? Are these truly the best of all the earphones that we listened to today? Or do you have another one that you like? So now that we have all of the information, let's start talking about the headphones themselves. The OnePlus Buds, and I'll start with them because they're basically the starting point. So about 80 bucks, you're going to be getting basically a good experience. So as far as range, they actually perform quite well. They are going to perform the best on a OnePlus device. So if you don't have a OnePlus, they'll still work well. It's just you're limited in certain things that you can do. So you can't reconfigure the buttons that you have in there. You're also not able to basically get the best experience with the low latency, specifically for gaming. It actually does for 4 out of all 5 of these the best when it comes down to low latency, even though it's not necessarily considered to be a really good, like a very expensive pair of headphones. So OnePlus did a good job, and they do have a couple of other options as well. So the OnePlus Bullets 2 as well as the OnePlus Bullets Z are also other options at 100 and about 50 bucks. Audio-wise though, they sound pretty good, but because they're open cans, so they're open ear, you tend to increase the audio volume to be able to compensate for the sound that's coming out from the outside. So there's no ANC to kind of bridge the gap the way we have them with the Buds Live. But again, for about 80 bucks, I really can't say anything bad about them. Again, great price point to start in. If you have a OnePlus, even better. Switching it over to the Pixel Buds. Now, these guys are 150 bucks. They're Google's second attempt at headphones, or true wireless headphones. Last year's version basically had an open ear design similar to the one we saw with the OnePlus Buds. But the difference this time is that now, because they sit in our ear, there's that natural noise reduction by just closing the ear canal, and it provides us a much better sound and seal in our ears. Audio performance was good. Unfortunately, the battery life was not the longest, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But I felt like out of all of the headphones that we have here, they actually did sound really good. Good mids, good lows, and of course, just the overall experience. As long as you have a built-in EQ to your phone, you're able to customize it a little bit better. So, you know, Dolby Atmos or Dirac or whichever, a lot of the new devices are starting to have those. I feel like the Pixel Buds will perform really good. Next, we're going to move on, obviously, is the XM3s from Sony. These are by far one of my favorite pair of headphones. I still use them. They're great. Exercise with them is really nice. Battery life is very good. Active noise cancellation, and of course, the customizations to use them, specifically when you want to use them, let's say for 360 audio, or even if you want to listen to a content on title, like mastered audio. I think they perform the best for me overall. One of my favorite pair of headphones, and of course ANC on them is absolutely great. They're under $200 now, brand new directly from Sony, and I feel like even though there's another option on the market, they're still performing quite well. So for a sub $200 pair of earphones or headphones, they're definitely going to work really good for you guys. And of course, the sound quality is Sony. It's what you expect from Sony. You get it with the XM3s. So the last two we're going to talk about obviously are the Pixel Buds Plus and the Pixel Buds Live. Now, both are released in the same year. For me, both sound very similar to each other as far as the sound profile and performance. Now, battery life is a little bit different. You obviously get a lot longer on the Buds Plus because they're 11 hours, rated to work up to 11 hours, and that's because of the bigger format. But something to keep in mind is that the ANC that's on the Buds Live kind of work in a way to compensate for that, for them not being in ear. So the audio performance with ANC on sound very close to the way we get them with the Buds Plus, but then there's that $20 extra price point. I feel like the aesthetics, the design, the looks, and the colors that we get with the Buds Live are basically what's driving a little bit of more of the uniqueness there. Personally, if I had to choose between the two, honestly, I'm going to actually go with the Buds Plus, mostly because they're tried and true, performance is great, long battery life, and they're actually 20 bucks cheaper from Samsung. They still get 90% of the same features that you get from the Buds Plus, with the exception of ANC. But honestly, ANC with the Buds Live work the same as no ANC with the Buds Plus for me as far as sound quality. Both have great range, both have a gaming mode, although not necessarily the best. But as far as customizations, you're not going to miss out. So if you have to pick up something from Samsung this year, I would personally say stick with the Buds Plus, unless the design of the Buds Live are definitely something that you appreciate and you want to have that feature in there. I feel like then you can go with the Buds Live or the Beans. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think between all of these headphones, and did you enjoy this video? Of course, I would love to know all of that. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support, and I will see you guys next time.